So in F322, you're required to know about different functional groups of compounds. Okay, so I've drawn a few here that you need to know. So this one here is an alkane. It's got carbon to carbon single bonds. Okay, so alkanes contain carbon to carbon single bonds. And it's key, you've got a QWC question that you spell these right. So alkanes. Okay, when you're naming alkanes, they end in ane, A-N-E. Okay, so when you're naming alkanes, they end in A-N-E. So this functional group here is what we call an alkene, carbon to carbon double bond. So again, QWC question, you must spell it correctly. So alkene. So an alkene, if we're naming alkenes, we end in E-N-E. Over here, we've got an alcohol. Okay, the carbon must be attached to the oxygen when you're drawing alcohol groups. If you do not do this, you could lose the mark in an exam. Carbon must be attached to that O. Okay, and alcohol. Again, QWC, just be careful how you spell it. Alcohol. Here we have an aldehyde. The aldehyde is C double bond O H. Okay, this is the key thing for an aldehyde. Aldehydes end in al when we're naming them. Okay, so aldehyde, and they end in al. So here we've got a ketone. C double bond O to attach to two different R groups. So two different R groups tend to be carbons. This is a ketone. So what's your spelling on this one? People spell it as key. It's ketone, K-E-T-O-N-E. Next one, we've got a carboxylic acid. That contains an OH group. Again, exactly like the alcohol group, that O must be attached to the carbon. O must be attached to a carbon. If it's not, you could lose marks again. So this is a carboxylic acid. And finally, we've got an ester. Esters always come with a C double bond O attached to an oxygen. So if you see a C double bond O attached to your oxygen, that's got to be an ester group. And if all doubt fails, if you have a look in the back of your data sheet, they have clues to what these functional groups could be. So if you forget what the names are, look at your data sheet in your exam just to jog your memory. Use the infrared section, the NMR section. Have a look at that data sheet and see if that jogs your memory for the names of the functional groups. So below we've got a compound. See if you can pause the video and see if you can name the functional groups present in this compound. So here we've got an alcohol group. Notice how that carbon here is attached to the O, not to the H. So we've got this alcohol group. And here we've got an alkene. Carbon to carbon double bond. So we've got another example here. We've got aspirin. See if you can pause the video and have a go at this one. So in aspirin, we've got three functional groups. We've got this one here. Should have identified that as a carboxylic acid. C double bond O, OH. Look how this oxygen is attached to that carbon. Here, we've got an alkene. Carbon to carbon double bond. And finally, we've got an ester group. Carbon-carbon double bond attached to an oxygen.